Hello and welcome to this second live stream. In today's live stream, we're going to visualize the military budget of the different countries in the world. I think, we've used the same data source last time, which is the World Bank. It's a great data source and it has a lot of data on different countries and different metrics. So let's search for military expenditure in current USD. Maybe as a percentage of GDP would be a fairer comparison, but let's select the current USD. All right, so as you can imagine, it has increased over the last decades. But we want to split this based on the different countries, which is here. So what we can do is we can download this into an Excel file, and that's the file that we can use. So let's open it, and let's see. Yes, let's also just save this in our working directory that I've already prepared, which is here. And then we can just quickly format this data. We want to create a new folder that is called data. I want to save it as the new Excel format. Military budget. All right, so this is the raw data, and let's actually create our main data sheet where we format it. So we'll just select everything and paste it here. So what we want to do is we want to compare it, compare the different countries with each other. I think currently it also has different regions. Yeah, it has the world as well included. So we want to basically remove that. Let's see if the site has an option to remove it. Probably not. No. Are all the special regions at the bottom? No, also not. Okay, let's do that manually in that case. Let's first get rid of, I don't know, anything that we don't need. And yeah, let's see what the number one is. So I can format this data, adding a filter, and then sort it from large to small. And obviously the world is the number one, and those are all not countries. So let's remove those. This is not a country. Those are not countries. Russian. This is not a country. Just need to make sure that we remove most of them, or the bigger ones. Just to make sure that they don't appear in the end visualization, basically. Small states. I think that's probably most of them. Okay, let's delete those. What did it say? let's do it like this then. And let's reorder that. I'm not sure why I didn't like that. Anyway, let's just remove all the blank lines. Again, there's probably a better way of doing this, but this is usually the quick and dirty way, which is what I normally do. All right, so that's it. Obviously, the United States, China, India are #1, but we want to make this into a visualization. So let's remove those filters, and we don't need this. If you remember from last time, or if you've used the Python package before, we need to transpose this data. So let's do that. Excel has a very nice feature that you can easily transpose. And actually, let's start, I don't know, this data relatively recent so that we have most of the data values. All right. And let's... So the script will do interpolation. So if there's a gap in the data, it will do a linear interpolation between those 2 points. But if the data doesn't exist yet, let's just set it to 0, just like here. But those countries are probably not going to appear anyway in the visualization. So let's see, are there any gaps at the start? That's 0 here, 0, 0. And let's see. Let's just make sure that if there's no data, that the data is set to 0. Let's see here. And those is not present at all. And let's remove that. Let's see, there's a lot here, but those are very small states anyway. Let's actually just say and replace 0 and match entire cell and replace that. Okay, cool. Is this? Okay, so we have the data. Again, we will focus on the top, I don't know, 10 maybe, or top 15. So the smaller countries towards the right don't count as much if we want to display a total, for example. So that's the format the data. And yeah, now we are ready to make our visualization. So let's close this and look at our working directory. So what I've done is I have added, I don't know, the flag icons of the G20 countries, as I expect most of the, I don't know, the top 15 countries are in this group of countries. If there are any missing, we can add them later. And I've added a background image. So I've loaded this image from Shutterstock. So when I put this code on GitHub, it won't include this background image. So you can use your own image, or I don't know, download it from Shutterstock yourself. And I have created a little JSON file that contains also the color codes for those bigger countries that I expect will be in there. So that's the setup I've made before starting this. So now we can actually start coding our visualization. So as always, we're using Python. So let's create our Python file. Python files always start with ends with .py as the file extension, and I use a code editor that's called PyCharm because it has quite some nice features with debugging and stuff like that. So I'll add this to GitHub later, but what we can do is we can also open the script from last time next to it, just to make sure that, I don't know, just as an easy starting point. So at the top, we import everything that is needed. And let's say, yes, that looks fine. And let's define our main function. And we also want to run the main function. So let's see if that all works fine. Yes, so exit code 0 means, yeah, that's successful, but we haven't told the script yet what it should be doing, right? So let's add 2 parameters to our main function, and let's load our data in a pandas data frame. So in our case, this is called military budget. So that's a nice thing of PyCharm, that it recognizes, oh, this file exists. Do you want to use that? So let's see if that all works fine. So it is loading the data frame, and it is doing the interpolation between the points. This is a one-time only thing. So what it will do is it will save the interpolated data in a temporary folder, so that the next time we run it, that it will be much quicker. Right. Then the next step is to define our canvas. So the canvas is loaded from this library that I've published. And that is, so the canvas basically is we're going to use the canvas to draw all of our visual elements too. And let's start with a very simple example, and let's copy everything actually that we need from the example. Don't worry about it. We will change it or make it more appealing in a minute. Let's see when we run this what will happen. Okay. We haven't loaded our colors JSON file, so that's this bit of the script that takes care of that. And let's see if that works. Yes, okay. I mean, that looks all right. It might be a bit small actually. So what we can do is we can reduce the number of bars that are displayed. So let's see, in our bar object, which is added here, there's an argument that is called number of bars or bar number of bars, I believe. So let's set that to 10 instead. We actually defined it there already, which is set to 20. So let's reduce that to, I don't know, 12. And rerun that. Okay, that's a lot better. So last time we had a square canvas. So let's now try to do a 4 by 5 canvas. That works relatively well with reels on Instagram. And let's add the square, or the, I don't know, just an indication of where we want to be, or what our working area is. So let's see. So the width should be that, and the height should be that, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this is our working area. So we see our animation is far too high and far too wide. So what we can do is we can change the height values and the width values of our bar chart. So let's say our height should be, I don't know, 900, and let's reduce our width to 750. Okay, that looks a lot better. The only problem is that yeah, it falls out of the screen and it is not high enough. So let's increase the height actually a bit, and let's shift the chart a bit to the right. So let's increase this to 200 maybe. So this part is always a bit fiddly, to be honest. So but the good thing is, once you have set up this template, you can just swap out the data and it will take care of everything for you. All right, this looks quite good. Let's shift it down a bit. So instead of okay, that looks quite good. All right. So there are some problems with the data. So now it is stored in, I don't know, United States dollars, but let's actually show it in terms of $1 million. So in that case, we want to edit our data file, and what we want to do, I'm in the wrong folder. What we want to do is divide everything by 1 million, right? Let's add a new sheet. Let's copy everything here. And let's just use the standard Excel equations, and we want to divide it by 1,000,000. How many zeros? So it's 6 zeros, so that's correct. And yeah, so now what we can do is we can just, I don't know, copy this across. And now everything is divided by 1,000,000. So now this is formatted as an equation. So if I go here, it tells me what the equation is, but we actually need the proper value. So I can just paste those values as if they are values. So now it actually stores the value. And so the script will always take the first sheet of the Excel file. So yeah, let's just move the sheet with the actual data that we want to use to the front. There's also an issue with this one. So in the color JSON, the Russia is referred to as Russia, not the Russian Federation. So let's change that. And also Korean Republic should be South Korea. All right, let's rerun this. I need to close this. So what it now needs to do recalculate the values because I've changed the Excel sheet. All right, that looks much nicer with a lot, or the numbers being a lot smaller. Right, this looks quite good, I would say. Yeah, we missed the Spain flag and color, but other than that, it looks good. Oh, I didn't know Myanmar would be up that high. All right, let's go back to the script. All right, there are a couple of issues here as well. The first one is that, I don't know, the bars that didn't make the top 12 are hidden behind a white square here, but you see some of it is still shown for the longer country names, so that's not ideal. So let's fix that. So we can actually set the, let's see, we can actually shift down the bar where it's hidden. So let's go here. So if I add an argument shift, and that's the number of pixels that it is shifted down, I believe. So let's just shift it down by 100. That should resolve that. And also the title. So at the moment it is in the middle of a square, but it should be in the middle of the actual canvas. And let's see. Yeah, that looks it's not quite there, but I need to shift it just slightly more. All right, that looks quite all right. So this is a basic setup, but let's spice this up a bit to make it a bit more interesting to look at. First of all, we want to change the title, obviously, and maybe we can move this date indication, or even add an animated pie chart. do this as well. So let's do that. So a good title would be military budget. Let's see. So English is not my first language, so let's see if I spelled that correctly. Yes. And this chart actually looks quite similar to what I'm making. So military budget. I think the position is quite good. One thing we wanted to do is the date. So let's make it a bit smaller and position it better. So maybe this would be a nice position. Okay, that looks all right. So military budget. We can also add a unit here. So we know it is in millions of dollars. So what I can do is add it like this. And I believe the script will split up, adding the $sign at the front and the million at the end. So let's see. What did I do? Oh, I need to say unit is just as another argument of this function. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks quite good. So there's still an issue with the Spanish color, which is a bit random, and I believe Myanmar also appears at some point, for which we don't have the flag. Yes, there it is. So let's actually solve that as well. Yeah, so programming is actually just solving a bunch of smaller tasks. So as long as you can split up everything into smaller tasks, that should all be all right. Let's actually see if this is still going. Yes, we're still streaming. That's good. All right. Let's see. I have a big repository of assets here. So let's find Spain and move it here. And we also needed Myanmar and move this as well. Cool. We also need the colors for those two countries. So for that we can edit this little JSON file. Just add Spain and Myanmar at the end. So Spain, I mean, that color is a bit red, isn't it? And Myanmar, how do I spell that? Cool. And Myanmar, I guess green, it's in the flag. So G, green, B, blue. Okay, let's see what that looks like if I rerun this. Okay, that looks quite good. So we have Spain there with nice red. And then at some point Myanmar will appear, but I believe that should be all right. Yes, oh, that's maybe a bit too bright actually. So let's reduce that to, I don't know, something like this. And that should be fine. All right. So a new thing that I haven't shown last time is that we can combine different chart types. So let's do that here. So if I copy this line and import pi raise, we can actually add an additional chart type. And let's add a pie chart, and instead of calling the bar raise, we call pie plot, I think. And let's see what happens if I just run this. Okay, this looks good. So obviously the pie chart is way too large. So let's make that a lot smaller. So let's see. We want the height, I don't know, maybe 250. And this argument doesn't do anything. And the position, it should be shifted towards the right and maybe a bit more towards the bottom. So let's see what this looks like. So again, it's a bit fiddly to get this right, but yeah, you typically only do this once and you will just reuse that. I think the probably needs to go a bit more to the right, but the size is good. So we want it to go a bit to the right, so maybe this works, and shift it down quite a bit so that is near to the date indication. Okay, that it can still go a bit more to the right than the bottom. Let's just do that. 800 and a bit too much. So 75 and this 50. That should be it, I think. I really like the addition of the pie chart, just because then you see how big of a percentage the United States spends of the total, basically. And I think this looks all right. So we see that the percentage is also included in this chart, and that makes it a bit cluttered. So I will just remove that. I think there's an argument that says include. No, that's actually get the documentation. Sort, no. Okay, that should be here. Can't remember what the name is. Display percentages. Yeah. And we want to set that to false so that it will not display the percentages. Let's see if that works. Perfect. Okay. So that looks all right. Maybe I should just skip the labels entirely in the pie chart. Let's see what that looks like. Display labels, false. Maybe we can make it a bit bigger then, and that the flags will be the only, and the colors, I guess, will be the only indication of which countries is. I think this is a bit better. So let's actually increase that size a bit and shift it to the left because we increased the size. And the X and Y position are always the top left point. Okay, this is quite right, but also we want to get a bit higher. Okay, I think this looks all right, I think. So yeah, this edition of the pie chart is quite nice. So you see almost half of the world's military budget is by the United States, which is just crazy. I mean, this is quite a good result already, but let's make it a bit more visually appealing. So now I will show you how to add a background image. So we haven't done that yet. So I think it's important to add it at the start. So if we obviously want it to be as a background, so everything else that is drawn to the canvas should go in front. And the background can be added as a static image. So we created static image, and we need this and probably this. We need to set the coordinates of it. Let's start 0, 0. And the height and the width. And then yes, not sure what the arguments are here, but let's see. Canvas with height, file. Okay. Another nice thing from using PyCharm is that you can jump to the code by holding Shift. So if I hold Shift, it will highlight the different parts of the code. Okay, so the file is in the assets folder, and it is called, not sure actually. Okay, so it's just a Shutterstock name. And I guess that should be it. Let's see if that works. We need to add it to the canvas actually. So canvas dot add subplot. So everything is a subplot basically. Okay, that's not added. And now if I rerun it, hopefully we will have a nice background. No. It is a, hopefully it's a PNG. No, it's a JPEG. So at the moment, the code or this library only supports PNG files. So let's convert it. I always use PowerPoint to convert file formats. That's probably a better way again, but this is just something that I find convenient. And we want to add it to our assets and save it as PNG. And let's just call it background. Again, this is a Shutterstock image. So when I add this code later, I will just set it as a with a black background. Let's see what that looks like. It's probably going to be, yeah. So that's not easily visible, that just because our font colors are not great. So we can change the font color as well. So let's add that here as another argument, font color, and I think we can just set it to the RGB value. So let's add it as white, and let's see what that looks like. If that's readable. That looks all right. Yeah. So I don't know. Good practice is if you want to change something in the future, it's good to define those variables at the top or in the function definition. So let's actually do it like this. And for the title, where did we get the title? So let's change the font color of the date and the title as well. Font color is font color. I guess that should be it. All right, that's quite good. Maybe it's not very readable. Let's actually make the background black. And in the canvas, there's an argument, an optional argument, BG for background. Let's set that to background. And let's make our background transparent. So let's make it just slightly transparent and save it again. Yes. Okay. Let's see what that will do. That looks a lot better, to be honest. So there's less noise from the background. So one important thing to note is obviously we only use the square that you just slightly see here. So if you cut it out, it looks quite good. You can always find the end result on Instagram. One issue is with this, I don't know, this line here that indicates 200,000. So let's also fix that. So to resolve that requires a bit more, I don't know, deeper dive into the code, unfortunately. So if I go to the bar race, there's a class called bar stripes, and here we can, let's make them a lot lighter. Yeah. And also I think text. See, fill self color. Okay, so the stripes have the same color as the text, which is good. So let's see if that resolves that slight issue. Okay, that looks quite good. All right. I always find it's good practice to add the data source as text at the bottom. So let's do that. And also, so the way this pie chart works is that, or to make it a donut chart, it just draws a circle on top in the middle. But let's match that a bit more with the color of the background. So let's make that black as well. So we have an argument here, background color, and again RGB. So let's set it to black. And let's see, to indicate the data source, we can add the static text again. So let's see. So data source, and that is the World Bank. So it's always quite a good data source. And let's make this smaller. Anchor it to the west. So that means that that it is I don't know, aligned on the left, and the X position, let's make that 50, and the Y 30. Let's see what that looks like. That's a bit small, but the idea is good. So let's increase it by a bit. Okay, that looks quite good. And then let's also add some branding. So we can do the same. Let's say made with SJ visualizer. So that's the library I've made. We want to align this on the right. So we set the anchor to east. And we probably want to set the X position to 1000. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. And yeah, there we have it. So so we finished our visualization. So military budget of the different countries. We have a racing bar chart and a pie chart as well. And the pie chart indicates, I don't know, the percentage of the total that each of the countries has. So this is it. So I will add this code to the GitHub repository. I will remove the background just because that's from Shutterstock, and I can't give that to you. So the way to convert this into a video is by using OBS Studio. And then in OBS Studio, you can set the recording area. So at the moment I'm recording full screen, but you can set the recording area to your canvas area. Yeah, so the end result will be added to Instagram probably this weekend. And yeah, good luck. I think that's it.